Now clearly it will be very useful to be able to save the attributes of a particular dimension style so that it can be used again in both the current design and in other design files. As you'll see, it's very easy to save a dimension style and to import that style into another design file. Now at the moment, I have my Dimension Styles box open, and you can see the attributes of the current style. The font is Arial, and the height and width are both 1 foot. Now I want to save this style for future use in this drawing and in other drawings too. So what I'm going to do is to click on Style and New, and a new style shows up with a title. So I need to change this title to something I'm going to remember. So I'm going to call this Arial 1 for 1 foot. I want to enter to save that. Now right now this style is not saved, and that's why you're seeing the bright blue background for the style. So I need to go to Style and Save. That changes it back to the pale blue, which means the style is saved and ready for use. So saving a style is actually very simple. And to save a different style, you would simply change the attributes and click on Style again and a new style name. So that's fairly straightforward. Now, as I mentioned, this style can be used in any other drawing file. And to do that, if you are working in a different file, you would import this style into that drawing. I already have some styles previously made in a different design file, and I'm going to import them into this file. So we go to Style again. This time we click on Import, and it asks us to find the file that we want to import the dimension styles from. In my case, it's this particular one, so I'll click on that file, and the new dimension styles have been imported. Here's my original Arial 1, still in place, but now I have Arc 6.5, Arial 6.5, Engineering 3, and Tahoma 3. So if I click on each of these styles, you'll see the attributes of the style change. And each name reflects the type of style, and in my case, the height and width of the style. So very straightforward and very easy to do. Now, as to using the styles, when you are working with a dimension tool, let me open Dimension Linear, you'll see styles here as style none as the default, meaning that there's no specific style. Whatever's set in the dimension attributes will be used, but we need to look at specific styles. So click on the style box, drop it down, and I can pick any of these. And now when I place my dimension, and I'm using the 4 rectangles that we used earlier, and I'm using the center snap, I can easily place a dimension. Let's change the style again. Let's try Arial 6.5, which gets me 6-inch height and 5-inch width. Let's try this on this side. And you see the different dimension. So it's very easy to switch between styles. Notice that when I selected this in the Tool Settings window, nothing happened here. And normally, of course, this would be closed. We would not be seeing the Dimension Styles box on the screen. However, if we do turn it off, and you do want to see that box, click on the hourglass item here, and that will bring the Dimension Styles box back onto the screen. Now, if you decide to edit one of these styles, then if I change the attributes here, then I'm changing it as a local style. It will not affect that previous design file from where I imported these styles. So strictly local. So for example, if I change this Arial 6.5 to Arial 8 inches rather than 6 inches and 5 inches, then immediately the style highlights in blue, telling me that I haven't saved the style, and do I want to save the style? And if I do, I go to Style and Save, which saves the current settings, but I have a warning box saying that since I have a dimension already in this drawing using that style, then all dimensions in place will be changed to the new attributes. Let's say yes. Instantly, this dimension changes to the new attribute settings for that particular style. So you have to be a little careful here. This may or may not be what you actually want, particularly if you have large numbers of this particular dimension style placed in your design. Now, another way of changing existing dimensions in a drawing to a different style is to right-click on a style. Now, I'm using the Arial 6.5 at the moment, so I right-click on that and use the Remap Elements option. When I click on that, it wants to know which source do I want to change to. So let's pop down the list. Let's pick on Engineering 3, and we'll say OK. Now this style has now changed to Engineering 3. Now that will remap all dimensions in the drawing that previously used the Arial 6.5 style. So again, great caution is required, because this may or may not be what you want to do. And one last thing, I really should change the name of this Arial 6.5 style to match the new attributes of the style. So right-click the style, rename. We're going to call this 8 and enter. It needs to be saved, of course. So save the file. There we go. So the style is now saved. So as always, please practice this. This is a very useful facility, particularly if you're working on large designs where you have many different styles. And be sure to practice importing styles from other drawings, which of course will mean you having to make different styles in a different drawing and then start the import process.